Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto, or welcome to the channel if you're new while I reposition my camera a little bit. Welcome to this new video in which we'll talk about some major news that is happening in 2 days time, a little bit more strictly. I think in about like 55 hours or something. Not 100% sure, but we'll get to that. And I wanted to talk about some news that is almost guaranteed to make the markets move. And I think it's kind of flying below the radar right now because everyone is looking at the elections, of course, which is happening next week. And I think a lot of people are forgetting this news, which, don't worry, we'll get into that in a moment. But a lot of people seem to be forgetting this news, and historically, I think it's a bad decision to not know what the news is and not be prepared for some volatility at the very least, but also the possible outcomes depending on different scenarios. All right, so what I'm talking about, and if you do know about this, I still think that there's value kind of looking at what it has done and what it has meant in the past. But I'll try to keep the video short. We'll talk about what you need to know, and I won't spoil any of your time. It's Coinbase earnings, all right? So if you don't know, every quarter Coinbase publishes their earnings per share, but in general also just their financials, all right? So their revenue, their liabilities, their balance sheet, etc. So in general, very interesting to take a look at that. But what's most interesting right now is that the 30th of October, as you can see right now, they'll have their next earnings announcement. And that's relevant for two reasons. First of all, historically, that has always caused quite a lot of movements, or at least it has been one of the main factors causing movements in the weeks thereafter. And then mainly if they are beating the estimate, all right? Because what you usually have is you have an estimate of what analysts and what experts think that the EPS will be, their earnings per share, and then they publish the real result, and based on the percentage difference compared to the estimate, the market moves, or at least that gives you some sort of an indication of the strength of the crypto market, right? Because Coinbase right now is still one of the biggest centralized exchanges in the biggest market, the US. And in general, it's still very, very relevant in that. I believe Binance is bigger right now, but Coinbase is the only publicly listed one, right? So we actually get an insight in their financials and how much money they're making via different methods, etc. So Coinbase itself right now is doing fine in terms of when we look at the stock. You can see we actually got a decent breakout above this level right here between 200 and 190. So Coinbase is doing fine purely technically. It is slightly bullish, I would say. And the markets right now, I would say, are slightly bullish as well. Now, I do want to stress before we talk about what the earnings and what the report has historically meant. Obviously, the election is going to matter as well, right? But I do think, especially on the 30th, you should be prepared for the volatility. And like I said, and I think that's one of the most important things that you need to know about this, it gives us some sort of an insight on how the market is doing. All right, so for example, if we go back to all the other previous reports, all the other ones, they have actually beat the expectations, except for the second quarter of this year. There they did not beat the expectations, but I think they met the expectations, or they slightly missed them. But if we, for example, look at quarter 3 last year, quarter 4 last year, quarter 1 this year, they beat the earnings, right? So they basically earned more revenue. It's a very easy way to say it. It's a very simple way to say it. It's not completely true, but they basically earned more than what was expected per share. Now, what we see all the other time, so I indicated that with the vertical lines right here. So here was the report of quarter 3. They actually won. So here you can see that they actually, because they beat the expectations, that gives a bullish indication of the market. Now, I'm not going to tell you that every time. I mean, you can see these were the 3 times we beat the earnings. This was the time we did not beat the earnings. As you can see, the 3 times we actually beat the earnings expectations, we actually started to rally afterwards, and we continued to be bullish afterwards. Even this time right here, after we had already hit the all-time high. Now, the only time we did not hit the earnings and the only time we did not beat the estimates was right here. Now, honestly, I will not say that this is relevant data, all right? Because as you can see, we had a massive crash here fueled by recession fears. So I think that kind of obscures the data. But I do think it's very interesting to look at all the other times that we actually beat the estimates. It was a sign of a bullish market. It was a sign that the markets were becoming stronger again, and it was also a sign that we could expect continued growth in the markets. All right. The last time right here, as you can see, after Q1, maybe was a little bit different. But like I said, even then afterwards, we actually got some nice bullish momentum, which was partially also caused by the Coinbase earnings. So in that sense, and I will keep you updated on this probably in some sort of an update video as well, it's going to be absolutely crucial to see if we can actually beat the expectations again. And if we can beat the earnings, I think that goes hand in hand with the already bullish fundamentals, such as the elections, or at least the potential election win for Donald Trump. And if we don't beat the earnings, it's going to be very interesting to see how the market reacts, because we basically haven't seen that for more than a year. But I would say that's a very bad sign for the market at the very least. All right, so hopefully you know right now what is coming this Wednesday, how to be a little bit prepared for it. Basically just secure your trades, avoid leverage, etc. And I'll be back. I'll be back after the report to see what has happened. And in the light of the market at that point of time, we'll talk about what the possibilities are. But that's what I think you need to know for now. If you do have any questions, let me know down in the comments. But for now, thank you for watching. Take care and bye.